For this reason too it cannot be opinion, for opinion is thought to relate to all kinds of things, no less to eternal things, and so on, and it is distinguished by its falsity or truth, opinion is, not by its badness or goodness, while choice is distinguished rather by these. Opinion is distinguished by its falsity or truth. That is going to give James Dewey and William James both a little bit of trouble, isn't it? To say that opinions can be true or false, I guess, is the sticking point for them there, isn't it? Because they believe that everybody gets their own opinion and everybody makes their own reality. Yeah, there's, man, so many modern theories could be just tossed right out if these people would have read their Aristotle. Now we skip a sentence and a half. By choosing what is good or bad, we are men of a certain character, which we are not by holding certain opinions. Okay? So to actually make choices gives you some character, makes you somebody. To just hold opinions is nothing, says Aristotle. Just saying I believe this or that and not having any actions in reality relating to it, you don't get any credit for that. Now that sentence, by the way, is stepping on the feet of the intelligentsia and academia, who just hold certain opinions and has no effect on reality. They do one thing in the university in the day, and then at night they go home and they live in real reality. And on the other hand, the authoritarians, people who are authoritarian and believe that all you have to do is hold this particular belief, and then you'll be right, you'll be in with the right crowd, you'll be doing the right thing. Just say you believe this. And Aristotle says you can't, that doesn't get you anywhere, it doesn't get you any credit at all to say, I have opinions. Well, what about your choices and actions? That's what I'm interested in, sir. And then he talks about we choose to get or avoid something good or bad. You want this thing, it's good or bad, you have to make choices for it, but, he says, you don't just sit back and hold opinions about it. He says, we can hardly be said to opine to get or avoid anything. You can't just say, here's my opinion. That's not going to get you anything, it's not going to stop anything from interfering with you. Your opinion isn't, as such, metaphysically active. You are. Alright. And choice is praised for being related to the right object, rather than for being rightly related to it. I believe that's an instance of necessary and sufficient conditions. It's necessary that the choice be related to the final object, and it is sufficient that it be related to the object. It doesn't have to be rightly related. It just has to be, you just have to have chosen it, chosen that object or that good or that goal. As he says, you're praised just for having been related to the right object, just for getting on the bullseye, rather than being rightly related to it, rather than the way in which you're related. So if anybody were to choose that, they would get credit. And we choose what we best know to be good, but we opine what we do not quite know. You choose what you know to be good, but you just hold opinions about things you don't really know. And it is not the same people that are thought to make the best choices and to have the best opinions. Right? They say, you want the best opinions, go to the New York Times, go to the universities. You want the best choices, go to Bill Gates or something, somebody who's rich. And it is not the same people that are thought to make the best choices and to have the best opinions, but some are thought to have fairly good opinions, but by reason of vice to choose what they should not. How can you have fairly good opinions then, and have viciousness and vice that would make you choose the wrong things? I don't know if is that a contradiction? That doesn't fit too well, as far as I can see. If an opinion precedes choice or accompanies it, that makes no difference. For it is not this that we are considering, but whether it is identical with some kind of opinion. So if opinion precedes choice or accompanies it, makes no difference. Either opinion then comes before choice or it comes along with choice in a package. But it doesn't make any difference, for it is not this that we are considering, whether it comes before or with, but whether it is identical with some kind of opinion. Aha! Is choice, is choosing, just identical with some sort of opinion, or is it somehow different? Now, if choice is identical with opinion, then it must come along at the same time with it, right? But if it's not identical, and I think Aristotle's made the case already that it's not, that choice is something voluntary, well, I think you see where he's going. Let's go to the next paragraph, though, and finish the thought, or go forward with the thought. What then, or what kind of thing is it? What is it, or what kind of thing is it? Since it is none of the things that we have mentioned. It seems to be voluntary, but not all that is voluntary to be an object of choice. Sorry, that just skips by me, that sentence. I think it might be missing a grammatical word, or else I'm just dull. Is it then what has been decided on by previous deliberation? Is that what choice is? And previous deliberations and thoughts. At any rate, choice involves a rational principle and thought. So whatever it is, we can say that at least. Even the name seems to suggest that it is what is chosen before other things. So first you make choice and then you can have opinions afterwards? Well, let's see. On to chapter 3 now. Do we deliberate about everything? And is everything a possible subject of deliberation? Or is deliberation impossible about some things? Aha! The eternal question of skepticism, or the question of eternal skepticism. You know, David Hume was the eternal skeptic. He said, I don't even know if the sun's going to come up tomorrow. So he thought we could deliberate about that. He thought that these things were up to question or doubt. Aristotle's opening this conversation asking, is that the case? Then he says that we wouldn't take what a fool or a madman says to be deliberatable. We would have to take what a reasonable man says to be deliberatable, to be an object of deliberation. Now about eternal things no one deliberates. Example, about the material universe, or the incommensurability of the diagonal in the side of the square. These things, he says, are not argued about. You know, would that he could see today the Big Bang theorists deliberating on what kind of universe was here before. Was it strings, or a smear, or a hologram? Yeah, well, he would throw them out. He would say, you can't deliberate about that stuff, you boneheads. But no more do we deliberate about the things that involve movement, but always happen in the same way, whether of necessity or by nature or from any other cause. Example given, the solstices of the rising of the stars, nor about the things that happen now in one way, now in another. We don't deliberate about stuff that happens unreliably, like droughts and rains, nor do we deliberate about chance events, like finding of treasure. You don't sit down and decide to find some treasure, right? But we do not deliberate even about all human affairs. For instance, no Spartan deliberates about the best constitution for the Scythians. For none of these things can be brought about by our own efforts. So if you want to deliberate, if you want choice, if you want your mind to be involved in it, it has to be something that affects you and that you can effect. Or affect, I should say. We deliberate about things that are in our power and can be done. Or we should. I've met psychotic people who will worry and worry and worry and worry and worry about stuff that they can't change. We call in others to aid us in deliberation on important questions, distrusting ourselves as not being equal to deciding. That was skipping quite a ways down there. That is the quest for objectivity, to be objective and to get a real handle on reality. He says we call in others to aid us, to help us on important questions, because we ourselves may not be equal to the task. This is a different attitude than saying that we have to call other people in to give their view and their perception on reality because it is different from ours. No, Aristotle says the reason we call other people in and get their view on reality is because